What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. For those of you who are new, my name is Evan and I make videos about hot stocks, dividends, and options. So if that interests you guys, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss when I upload. Now in today's video, we're going to cover why NIO is actually trading quite a bit lower today than they were yesterday. And we're also going to go over the new price forecast that JP Morgan put out, which was at $46. And we'll kind of cover that in detail and how that's going to affect NIO going forward. But obviously, as you can see, NIO is down almost 6% today. And yesterday, around closing time, NIO actually hit over $45. I believe they hit $45.16 yesterday. So I don't think this should come as a big surprise to see them pull back slightly, because typically when a stock hits a new high, it's not unrealistic to see a stock pull back 5 to 10% following a new high. Because you have to keep in mind, typically they pull back to a level of support, and most stocks don't just continually go up and up. Most of them have red days, and they pull back to those levels of support. And so that's sort of what NIO is doing. Now they don't have a really strong support line around $41, mostly because of the fact that they have been continuing upwards, and they've had this upwards trend for the last few weeks. Like if we look at the 1 week chart, NIO is still up 10.5% on the week, despite today being slightly red. But you can see, aside from today, NIO was just going up the entire week. And so it's not so bad to see them actually pull back. If we actually look at November 6th though, NIO was trading around this $41 area. And so that sort of does look like a good area of support. And then of course today they're trading at pretty much that exact same price. So you could argue there is some support there. I don't think it's very strong. And I don't really think there's enough there to hold NIO at this $41 price. I could see them dropping and I could also see them rising in the short term. It sort of is dependent on what catalyst and what good news comes out for NIO, or bad news, whether they go up or down in the short term. But if we actually compare NIO on the 1 week to SPY on the 1 week, we can see that SPY is up over 3.5% on the week. And they've been trading pretty flat most of the week. They had a big spike yesterday on Monday at open, and then they kind of tapered down throughout the day. And then obviously today they opened a bit lower than yesterday. And so that's also part of the reason why NIO is down today, because there was a pretty broad market sell-off and we saw the entire market kind of pull back from yesterday. But now kind of going back to the 1 day chart on SPY, they're really not up or down on the day. It says they're down 0.25%, but you can see they were up and down all day. And it's been pretty volatile, but in comparison to yesterday, they're actually quite a bit lower, as we saw on the 1 week chart. But now getting into a little more detail on why NIO is trading a bit lower today. Like I mentioned, it was due mostly to a broad market sell-off, but mostly in the technology sector. And there's also been some new concerns and new reactions to a potential vaccine for this whole pandemic. Now there's been a lot of talk about a vaccine, but there's nothing set in stone and confirmed yet. But I would think with all this talk about a vaccine in the possible near future, we would see the market go up, but we're not really seeing that. But that makes sense because the market doesn't always make sense. For example, when good news comes out, sometimes the market tanks, and the opposite is true as well. So the market isn't always following trends like we might expect. Now, as of 10:45 a.m. Eastern Time, NIO shares were down about 10.1% from their closing price yesterday. So that was close to their lowest today. And you could see by the chart that they were down around 6%. But it's important to keep in mind that NIO, much like other electric vehicle stocks like Tesla, Li Auto, and XPeng, and there's others as well, all these electric vehicle stocks are up exponentially on the year. Through Monday, NIO was actually up over 1,000% on the year. So I don't think people should be too concerned when NIO pulls back a slight bit, like 6% in 1 day. Because if you look at the year with 1,000% gain, and then NIO pulls back 6% in 1 day, that's not too much to be concerned about. Now, the only way I might be concerned is if I bought shares at that super high price, maybe at $45, and then maybe NIO pulls back the day after I bought those shares. That might be kind of concerning for some people, but that's where dollar cost averaging comes in. But even with these broad market sell-offs and NIO slightly pulls back because of those, NIO is way healthier than they were even back in January, because if we even go back 1 month prior to January, in December, NIO wasn't even sure if they would have enough cash to make it through the next year. And obviously they're not bankrupt right now, and they made it through a world pandemic. So that shows that NIO has a lot of potential in the future if they can survive something like this world pandemic. Now, NIO wasn't the only stock that had a great year so far. Many technology-related stocks and electric vehicle stocks in general had a very good year so far because a lot of investors didn't want to invest in traditional businesses because they knew the pandemic would really affect those. Like banks or airlines, they wanted something that was more future-proof and something that we would see a lot of returns in the future. And I think electric vehicle stocks kind of hit that right on the head because they're really not going to be as affected by something like this pandemic. Because people know that electric vehicles right now are very small in comparison to where they're going to be in the next 5, 10, or 20 years. And obviously because we said that it was a broad technology market sell-off, NIO wasn't the only one affected today, and Tesla was actually down 5.6% from Monday's close. And some of NIO's rivals like Li Auto and XPeng were down 10.9 and 6.8% respectively. And then the US electric truck startup, Lordstown Motors, was down almost 10%. So NIO wasn't the only one affected today, it was the entire technology and electric vehicle sector. But it's still really not anything to worry about because we still have potentially good news coming in the near future. One thing to actually watch out for is earnings on November 17th, which is a Tuesday. And the reason why earnings are likely to be reported as pretty good is because NIO actually hit record sales and deliveries both in the quarter as well as in October. Because if you guys didn't know, NIO actually delivered over 5,000 vehicles in a single month in October. They had never done that previously. And so because of these record deliveries, we should see better earnings than we have in previous quarters. And with that, we should possibly see an increase in the share price. But now kind of breaking down JP Morgan's price prediction. If you guys didn't know, quite a few weeks ago, JP Morgan put out a price prediction at $40 for next June. And that was when we saw NIO jump 26% in a single day. Ever since then, there's been new price forecasts almost every week. And now just recently, JP Morgan put out a new price forecast at $46.40. Now the rising question becomes, well, why are they putting out this price forecast only $2 higher than the share price? And this is talking about yesterday's share price. Obviously, NIO is a bit lower today, but the question still remains the same on why their price forecast is so low in comparison to how much they've been going up recently. And people are concerned that there's too many investors chasing after this low return that's possible, but there's definitely an answer to why this price forecast is so low. And personally, why I think this price forecast is so low in comparison to what NIO is trading at right now is because they're giving a more realistic price prediction of what NIO could be worth. And that would be a price prediction that would put NIO at a very fair price. Now, right now, I think a lot of people can agree that NIO is very overpriced. I mean, just looking at the 1 year, they shot up around 1,000%. So there's really no argument that NIO is overvalued right now in terms of their share price. But that's what this price forecast is taking into account. And they're kind of figuring that NIO isn't going to be as hot in the future. And maybe some of these investors are more short term and they're just trying to pick up a quick profit. So once we see the actual number of long-term investors, that's when we're going to see that more steady share price for NIO. But according to NIO, they're more than just a car company. They're sort of a pioneer in the EV space because they have all these catalysts and these things they want to implement in the future. And some things they've already implemented, like their battery swap stations. Now they're working on upgrading their batteries, their Navigate on Pilot, and there's a whole list of other things that NIO has going for them. But I think we can all agree that long-term NIO is going to be worth well beyond what they're trading for right now, as long as nothing bad happens and they don't end up going bankrupt somehow. But I doubt that would happen with all the things that they have going for them and the Chinese government supporting them. So again, I don't think today is really anything to worry about, this slight pullback. Most of the time after NIO pulls back, they continue going up. And even if they do pull back even more, that should just be a better time to add more shares to your portfolio if you're investing in NIO. Especially if you believe in NIO long term. Whenever there's a red day, that should be kind of a sign to add more shares. And if you're worried about having a high average share price, just dollar cost average in and set aside a certain amount of money each week or each month, and then you'll get the average share price of NIO. And the last thing, if you guys haven't signed up for Webull, make sure you guys sign up using the link in the description. And when you sign up and deposit $100, you'll get 3 free stocks now. And this promotion ends soon, so make sure you guys get your 3 free stocks. Also, if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like because it really does help out the channel. And with that said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you back here in the next one. Bye.